May 7th, 1942, 22,000 feet above the killing fields of northern France. Lieutenant Margot Ashford pulls the stick forward and the Spitfire's nose drops toward hell. 9 German fighters circle below like wolves around wounded prey, Messerschmitts. Black crosses stark against camouflage paint, waiting. Hunting. The engine coughs, oil pressure dropping, fuel gauge bouncing on fumes, 11 minutes of flight time remaining, maybe less. Her hand trembles on the throttle, not from fear, from exhaustion, from 3 weeks of lies, from the weight of a secret that could end everything. She pushes the stick harder. The Spitfire accelerates past 400 miles per hour, past 420, 440. The airframe shudders, rivets scream. The wings flex upward like a bird trying to escape its own skeleton. Standard doctrine says climb, regroup, retreat to friendly airspace and fight another day. But standard doctrine killed her brother 3 weeks ago. So she dives, straight into the center of the German formation at a speed that should rip the wings off her aircraft. The altimeter unwinds. 20,000 feet. 18, 15. The Germans scatter, surprised, confused. No British pilot attacks this way. No one dives when they should climb. She centers the gun sight on the trailing Messerschmitt. 40 yards. 30, 20. Her thumb hovers over the firing button. 16 seconds of ammunition remaining. One chance to prove everything. One chance to change the war. What happens in the next 4 minutes will rewrite fighter tactics for the rest of the century, but first she must survive the next 4 seconds, and nobody can know the truth. Nobody can discover that Lieutenant Marcus Ashford RAF Fighter Command doesn't exist. That the pilot diving into that formation of German fighters is a woman. 6 months earlier, October 1941, a farmhouse outside Lexington, Virginia, white clapboard, tin roof, the kind of house where 3 generations lived and died without ever asking why. Margot Ashford stands in her brother's bedroom holding a pair of scissors. Her reflection stares back from the mirror. Dark hair falls past her shoulders. 26 years old, born March 3rd, 1916, farm strong from hauling feed sacks and mending fences. Hands that can strip an engine or stitch a wound with equal competence. Her twin brother Marcus lies in the cemetery 2 miles down the road. Pneumonia officially. A training accident no one wants to discuss. 3 days from shipping out to England to join the RAF. Her older brother Theodore Teddy, to everyone who loved him, died 3 weeks ago over the English Channel. 21 days, but who's counting? Shot down by a German ace while following textbook tactics that got him killed in under 90 seconds. The telegram sits on the dresser. Regret to inform, killed in action, buried with honors. Margot picks up the scissors. Her mother's voice drifts up from downstairs. Quiet weeping. The sound of a woman who has lost 2 sons in 3 weeks and doesn't understand why God would be so cruel. Margot doesn't believe in God anymore. She believes in physics, in thrust and drag, in energy management and deflection shooting. She believes that her brothers died because men in comfortable offices wrote tactics for a war they never fought. She cuts. The first lock of hair falls, then another, then more. Dark strands pile on the floor like offerings to the dead. 20 minutes later, she looks like Marcus. Same build, same height, same sharp cheekbones and gray eyes that never smiled easily. She finds his uniform in the closet. Fits perfectly. Twins often do. The papers are already forged. Marcus's enlistment documents, physical examination results, transfer orders to RAF Fighter Command. A friend of Teddy's, a clerk with access to the right stamps and signatures, helped for a bottle of bourbon and the promise of silence. As far as the Royal Air Force knows, Lieutenant Marcus Ashford reported for duty 3 days ago. As far as anyone knows, Margot Ashford stayed home to care for her grieving mother. She wraps cloth around her chest, tight, painful, binding, then pulls on the uniform shirt, The wool scratches, the collar fits stiff against her throat. Marcus's dog tags hang cold against her skin. She practices his walk, longer stride, shoulders back, no hip sway. Men move through the world differently, like they own the space they occupy. The voice is harder. She pitches it lower. Flattens the Virginia drawl into something clipped. British pilots will expect an accent. American volunteers always sound foreign. She practices in the mirror. "Lieutenant Ashford reporting for duty, sir." Again. "Lieutenant Ashford reporting for duty, sir." The reflection stares back. A stranger. A ghost. A lie wrapped in wool and desperation. Her mother calls from downstairs. Dinner is ready. Margot goes down as herself one last time. They eat in silence. Pot roast. Boiled potatoes. The food tastes like ash. Her mother knows. Doesn't say anything. Just knows. The way mothers do. After dinner, Margot packs a duffel bag. Marcus's clothes, his shaving kit, the photograph of all 3 siblings taken last Christmas. Everyone smiling, everyone alive. She leaves at dawn. Her mother stands on the porch, doesn't wave goodbye, just watches. Hands folded over her apron, face carved from grief and acceptance. "Bring them home," her mother says, "not bring yourself home. Them, the boys who died, the future that was stolen." Margot nods. She doesn't look back. 3 days later, she steps off a transport ship in Liverpool. Rain hammers the docks. England smells like coal smoke and wet concrete and 1,000 years of history grinding against the present. A lorry takes her to RAF Biggin Hill, southeast of London. Fighter Command's forward airfield, close enough to France that you can see the contrails of dying aircraft on clear days. The station commander barely glances at her papers. He's seen 100 American volunteers, farm boys and college dropouts playing cowboys in Spitfires. Most last 3 sorties, some last 1. "Can you fly?" he asks. "Yes, sir." "Can you shoot?" "Yes, sir." "Can you follow orders?" Margot hesitates, just long enough for the commander to notice. He smiles, tired, cynical, the smile of a man who's written too many condolence letters. "Good. Men who follow orders too well end up dead. Report to B Flight. Wing Commander Pemberton will assess your skills. Dismissed." She salutes, turns, walks out before her hands start shaking. The barracks smell like sweat and cigarettes and fear poorly disguised as bravado. 12 bunks, 11 occupied, young men sleeping or reading or writing letters home that may never arrive. One pilot looks up, Irish, red hair, freckles, maybe 23, nervous energy radiating like heat. "You the Yank, Lieutenant Ashford," Margot says, voice pitched low, flat. "Flight Lieutenant Declan O'Rourke, welcome to the circus." He grins. "You picked a hell of a time to join. We lost 3 pilots last week, 2 the week before. Jerry's gotten smart. We're still following tactics from the last war." Margot drops her duffel on the empty bunk, says nothing. O'Rourke watches her, curious. "You don't talk much." "Nothing to say." "Fair enough. Most of us talk too much anyway. Nerves, you know. Helps to fill the silence before..." He trails off. Doesn't finish the sentence. Doesn't need to. Before you die, he means. A bell rings. Scramble alert. The barracks explodes into motion. Pilots grab flight gear, run for the hangars. Controlled chaos that looks random but isn't. Margot follows. The Spitfires sit in revetments. Sleek, beautiful. 8 machine guns in the wings, Merlin engine growling like a caged predator. A ground crew chief intercepts her. Woman, late 40s, graying hair tied back severe, coveralls stained with oil and hydraulic fluid. "You Ashford?" "Yes." The woman studies her, eyes sharp, assessing, seeing things others miss. "Sergeant Willa Brennan. I keep these birds flying." She nods toward a Spitfire with the code letters MKA painted on the fuselage. That one's yours. I went over her this morning. Engine solid, guns bore sighted at 250 yards, fuel tanks topped off. She'll bring you home if you don't do anything stupid. Margot nods. Thank you, Sergeant. Willa steps closer, lowers her voice. I was a nurse. Before the war. 20 years patching up soldiers. I know a woman when I see one, Lieutenant. Margot's blood turns to ice. Don't worry, Willa says quietly. Your secret's safe, but you pull any stunts that damage my aircraft for no reason, we'll have words. Clear, crystal. Good. Now get up there and don't get killed. I've already lost too many pilots this month. The scramble turns out to be a false alarm. Radar ghosts. They fly patrol over the channel for 90 minutes and see nothing but clouds and their own shadows on the water. Margot uses the time to learn the aircraft. The Spitfire responds like a living thing. Sensitive, quick. The controls are light at low speed but stiffen as velocity increases. The engine torque pulls left. You have to anticipate. Correct. Feel the aircraft through your hands and feet in the seat of your pants. She climbs, dives, turns, tests the limits. Pushes the envelope without breaking it. When they land, Wing Commander Alistair Pemberton is waiting. 55 years old, ramrod posture, handlebar mustache going gray, eyes like winter sky. He flew Sopwith camels in the Great War, survived when most didn't, carries the weight of too many dead friends. Lieutenant Ashford, a word. Margot follows him to the operations room. Maps cover the walls. Pins mark losses. Red for confirmed kills. Black for missing. There's a lot of black. Pemberton lights a pipe, studies her through the smoke. You fly well, he says. Better than most Americans I've seen. Where'd you learn what crop dusters, barnstormers, county fairs, wherever someone would let me fly? Unconventional. But that's not necessarily bad. He taps the map. We're losing this war in the air, Lieutenant. Not officially, not in the newspapers, but here over France we're bleeding. 3 dead for every one of theirs. The tactics we're using were written by men who never faced a Messerschmitt at 400 miles per hour. They don't work. But they're doctrine, and doctrine is sacrosanct. He looks at her directly. Your brother Theodore. I read the after-action reports. He followed procedure, engaged in a turning dogfight. The German had altitude advantage, dived on him. He never had a chance. It was textbook, and it got him killed. Margot's jaw tightens. She says nothing. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand. Following orders will keep you in good standing. But it won't keep you alive. Do you understand the difference? Yes, sir. Good. Dismissed. That night, Margot lies in her bunk and listens to the other pilots sleep. O'Rourke snores. Someone mumbles in his dreams. Someone else cries quietly, thinking no one hears. She thinks about Teddy, about Marcus, about the mother she left behind. She thinks about doctrine and death and the difference between following orders and staying alive. Sleep doesn't come. At 0400, she gives up, slips out of the barracks, walks to the flight line. Willa Brennan is there, always there, working on an engine by lamplight. Can't sleep, Willa asks without looking up. No. First week's the hardest. After that, you're either dead or you stop thinking about it. Margot approaches the Spitfire, runs her hand along the fuselage. The metal is cold, smooth, real. Can I ask you something, Sergeant? Depends on the question. Why didn't you report me? Willa sets down her wrench, wipes her hands on a rag, considers. My niece wanted to fly, she says finally. Smart girl, top marks, could name every part of an engine blindfolded, applied to the RAF. They laughed at her, said women lacked the temperament for combat, too emotional, too delicate. Willa's voice hardens. She joined the ATA instead, ferries bombers from factories to airfields. 3 months ago, her aircraft iced up over Scotland, crashed, killed instantly. She was 22. Silence. You want to fight? Willa continues. You want to prove they're wrong, fine, I'll help you. But you better be damn good, Lieutenant. Because if you're just playing dress-up, you'll get yourself killed and prove them right. I'm not playing. We'll see. The days blur into routine. Patrols, training, briefings, the same cycle repeating. Waiting for the Germans to come. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Margot flies wing for experienced pilots, learns their patterns, watches how they fight. They climb into turning dogfights. Every time, textbook maneuvers. The Germans know this. They bait the British into climbs, then bounce them from above with altitude advantage, speed advantage, energy advantage. It's predictable, methodical, lethal. Margot watches Flight Lieutenant Hargrove die this way. Good pilot. Cambridge educated. Followed doctrine perfectly. Climbed to engage. A Focke-Wulf dropped from the sun and cut him apart in 3 seconds. She watches Pilot Officer Whitlock nearly die the same way. He survives because O'Rourke breaks formation to save him. Pemberton reprimands O'Rourke for reckless flying. Margot says nothing, but she's learning. She studies physics at night, energy management, the way gravity and velocity trade for each other. Potential and kinetic. Height is energy stored. Speed is energy spent. If you start high and dive, you convert altitude into velocity. The aircraft accelerates like a falling stone. You hit the enemy formation faster than they can react. Fire. Kill. Use that momentum to zoom back up. Repeat. It's not elegant. It's not honorable dogfighting. It's not what they teach. But thermodynamics favors no one. And mathematics are ruthless. One morning, Margot volunteers for dawn patrol, solo, routine reconnaissance over the channel. Pemberton approves it. Stay above 10,000 feet, avoid contact, report anything unusual. She takes off into gray dawn light, climbs to 15,000 feet, sees nothing but ocean and clouds. Then 3 Messerschmitts, low, hugging the water. Probably returning from a night intruder mission. She should report and withdraw. That's procedure. Instead, she climbs to 20,000 feet, positions the sun behind her. The Messerschmitts don't see her, too focused on getting home. Margot rolls inverted, pulls the stick back, dives. The Spitfire accelerates. 300 miles per hour, 350, 400. The wings protest, the engine howls. She's doing something the manual says will cause structural failure. The controls stiffen. She fights the stick, aims for the trailing Messerschmitt, 400 yards, 300, 200. The German finally looks up, too late. Margot fires. 2-second burst. 8 machine guns converging. The Messerschmitt's tail section disintegrates. The aircraft snap rolls. Inverted. Hits the water at 300 miles per hour. No parachute. The other 2 Messerschmitts scatter, climbing, turning, looking for the attacker. But Margot's already gone. Use the dive speed to zoom back up to altitude, out of range, out of sight. She returns to base, lands, says nothing. Willa notices the gun ports, smell of cordite, fresh scorch marks. Thought this was supposed to be a quiet patrol. It was. Uh-huh. You engage. Briefly. Kill anything. Maybe. Willa grins. Good. Don't tell Pemberton. He'll have you flying a desk for breaking protocol. 3 days later, it happens again. Solo patrol, 6 Messerschmitts. Margot dives from altitude, kills 1, damages another, escapes untouched. She's discovered something. The Germans don't look up. They expect British fighters to engage at their level or below. They don't expect vertical attacks. It's a blind spot, a vulnerability. She starts using it, always on solo patrols, always unreported, small kills, single aircraft, nothing flashy, nothing that draws attention. Her skill grows, her confidence builds, but she's careful, never talks about it, never brags, blends into the background. Just another American pilot trying to survive. Until Flight Lieutenant Declan O'Rourke finds the locket, 2 weeks into December. Evening. The barracks are empty. Most pilots in the mess. Margot's in the shower block, door locked, washing away the sweat and fear and lies. She doesn't hear O'Rourke return, doesn't hear him rifling through footlockers looking for cigarettes. Doesn't know he's found the one thing that could destroy everything. She returns to the barracks wrapped in a towel, hair wet, guard down. O'Rourke sits on his bunk, holding a silver locket, the one her mother gave her before she left, the one she should have left behind, but couldn't. He opens it, sees the photograph inside, a young woman, dark hair, smiling. He looks up, looks at Margot, looks back at the photograph. Understanding dawns across his face like sunrise. Jesus Christ, he whispers, you're a woman. The world stops. Margot's hand moves to her service revolver, hanging on the bedpost 3 feet away. O'Rourke sees the movement, raises his hands. Easy, I'm not going to report you. Why not? Because, he gestures helplessly. Because you're good, better than half the pilots here. Because my cousin wanted to fly Spitfires and they told her women don't have the nerve. Because she's driving an ambulance in London now getting bombed every night while men who can barely land without crashing get to fly combat. He tosses the locket back. Margot catches it. Your secret's safe, O'Rourke says. But answer me one question. Why risk court-martial? Why lie your way into a war that's killing everyone? Margot sits, tired, so tired of lying. My brother died over the channel 3 weeks ago. Following tactics that don't work, I watched the after-action reports, watched him die on paper, and I thought... She stops, swallows. I thought if I could just get here, just prove there's a better way. Maybe I could save the next one. Maybe I could stop the bleeding. O'Rourke nods slowly. And have you found a better way? Maybe? Then show me. What? Show me. Whatever you figured out, because I'm tired of watching friends die. I'm tired of following orders that get people killed. If you know something that works, I'll keep your secret. Hell, I'll help you prove it. If I'm wrong, then we die like everyone else. At least we tried. Silence stretches between them, trust being built brick by brick. Finally, Margot nods. All right, but not here. Tomorrow, dawn patrol. I'll show you. Deal. O'Rourke stands, extends his hand. They shake. An alliance formed in whispered truth and desperate hope. That night, Margot sleeps better than she has in weeks. She dreams of Teddy, of diving out of the sun, of bullets finding their mark. She dreams of survival. The next morning, the alarm bells shatter the dream. Scramble, scramble, all aircraft. Pemberton's voice over the tannoy. Grim, urgent. Major operation detected. German fighters sweeping Pas-de-Calais. All squadrons scramble immediately. This is not a drill. Margot runs for the flight line. The sky to the east is already streaked with contrails. Dozens of them. A fur ball, a killing ground. Willa grabs her arm. Your aircraft's ready. Fuel's good. Guns are loaded. Radiator's been acting up. Don't push past 75% throttle or the engine will overheat. I tried to fix it but ran out of time. A constraint. Always a constraint. Margot nods, climbs into the cockpit, straps in. The Merlin engine coughs, catches, roars. Pemberton's Spitfire taxis past. He gives the signal, formation takeoff. 12 Spitfires lift into gray morning sky. They climb, heading for France, heading for the fight. The radio crackles, intelligence updates, estimated 30 German fighters, maybe more. Escorting bombers, Pemberton's voice, calm, practiced. Vicks of 3, maintain formation, engage per doctrine. Protect the bombers, good hunting, gentlemen. Margot checks her instruments. Fuel good, oil pressure good, ammunition full. She looks left. O'Rourke gives her a thumbs up. She looks right, sees the French coast approaching. Dark line against darker sea. The radio crackles again. Bandits, Angels 15, below and right. Margot sees them. 6 Messerschmitts, weaving lazily. Too confident. Too obvious. Bait. She scans above, squints into the sun. There, high cover. 12 Focke-Wulfs, staggered altitudes. Waiting. It's a trap. She keys her radio. Lead, this is Hawk 2. High cover at Angels 22. Repeat, high cover. Pemberton cuts her off. Radio discipline, Lieutenant, maintain formation. But he doesn't look up. The formation continues, straight toward the bait. Margot's hands tighten on the stick. This is how Teddy died. Exactly like this. Flying into an obvious trap because doctrine says engage the visible enemy. The Messerschmitts below turn, running, drawing the British down. Pemberton takes the bait. All aircraft descending attack. Engage lower group. The formation dives. Margot knows what happens next. The Focke-Wulfs will dive from above. Bounce the British while they're committed. Speed advantage, altitude advantage, perfect geometry for slaughter. She has seconds to decide. Follow orders, stay in formation, die honorably following doctrine, or break formation, trust her instincts, and risk everything. The Focke-Wulfs begin their dive. Margot sees O'Rourke's Spitfire, close formation, wing almost touching hers, then his aircraft shudders. Hit, flak burst from below, tracer fire from the bait Messerschmitts, glycol streams from O'Rourke's engine. White vapor, mortal wound. 2 Messerschmitts peel off. Diving on the crippled Spitfire, O'Rourke's voice, strained, weak. Hawk, they're on me. Can't shake them. Pemberton, all aircraft maintain formation. We cannot break for individual. Margot rolls inverted, pulls the stick back, dives. Pemberton's voice explodes. Ashford, return to formation immediately. That's a direct order. She doesn't answer. She's committed now. The Spitfire accelerates. 360, 380, 400. The 2 Messerschmitts don't see her, focused on O'Rourke. Easy kill. Margot dives between them. Impossible angle. Suicidal closure rate. Fires. The lead Messerschmitt explodes. Direct hit. Pilot never knew what happened. She pulls up. G-forces crushing. Vision tunneling. The second Messerschmitt breaks. Climbing. Panicked. Margot follows. Uses her dive speed to zoom climb. Gravity is impartial. Catches him at the top of his climb. Both aircraft hanging on propeller thrust. Momentarily weightless. Fires again. The Messerschmitt's canopy shatters. Aircraft falls away, spinning. O'Rourke's voice. Hawk, I owe you a drink. But now Margot's alone, separated, low on energy, surrounded by 14 Germans who just watched her kill 2 of their own. They're angry. They're coming for her. Pemberton's voice, cold, furious. Lieutenant Ashford, you are ordered to return to base immediately. Upon landing, you will be placed under arrest for disobeying direct orders in combat. Acknowledge. Margot looks up, sees the Focke-Wulfs diving, sees her squadron scattered, sees the trap closing. She keys the radio one last time. Acknowledged, sir. But first I have work to do. She banks hard, climbing, using every ounce of skill, every trick she's learned. The sky fills with tracers and smoke and aircraft trading death at 400 miles per hour. And somewhere in that chaos, Margot Ashford stops pretending, stops following doctrine, stops being afraid. She becomes what she was always meant to be. A hunter. The sky over northern France is a geometry problem written in tracer fire and dying aircraft. Margot climbs hard, full throttle. The radiator temperature gauge creeps into the yellow. Willa's warning echoes, don't push past 75% or the engine seizes. She's already at 90. Below, the squadron scatters. Pemberton's perfect formation dissolves into individual fights. Spitfires turning with Messerschmitts. The old dance. The predictable dance. The dance that kills. 3 Focke-Wulfs peel off to chase her. Fresh. Fast. Angry about the 2 kills she just scored. Margot checks her 6. Checks fuel. Checks ammunition. 8 seconds of firing time remaining. Maybe 9 if she's careful. The equation is simple. 3 enemies. 8 seconds. That's 2.6 seconds per kill if she's perfect. Perfect doesn't exist at 400 miles per hour with a dying engine. She rolls inverted. Pulls. The Spitfire arcs over the top. A barrel roll that trades altitude for position. The Focke-Wulfs follow. Predictable. They think she's running. She's not running. She's climbing. At the apex of the roll, she throttles back. 60%. The engine temperature drops slightly. Red to yellow to almost normal. The Focke-Wulfs overshoot. They have more speed, more momentum. Thermodynamics is ruthless. Margot rolls upright, dives on the trailing German. Point-blank range, 30 yards, can't miss, fires, 1-second burst. The Focke-Wulf's engine erupts. Black smoke. Flames. The pilot bails. Parachute blossoms white against gray sky. 7 seconds of ammunition left. The other 2 Focke-Wulfs break. 1 left, 1 right. Classic defensive split. Forces her to commit to 1 target. The other gets a free shot. Standard response. Pick one. Accept the trade. Margot doesn't pick. She dives straight down between them. Through the gap they created. Vertical separation. The one dimension they're not covering. Both Germans fire. Tracers converge where she should be. She's not there anymore. She's 500 feet below, accelerating, using gravity like a slingshot. The Focke-Wulfs try to follow. Too slow, too late. By the time they roll into pursuit, she's already pulling out, converting speed back into altitude. Energy management. The eternal equation. She climbs back toward the main furball, sees Pemberton's Spitfire. Turning hard with 2 Messerschmitts. Defensive scissors, tight, professional, textbook, also pointless. The Messerschmitts have altitude, they're patient, they'll wait for Pemberton to bleed speed, then they'll kill him. Margot climbs above the fight, positions herself, keys the radio. Lead break right on my call. Pemberton's voice, still angry, still in command. I gave you an order, Lieutenant. Return to base immediately. After this, break right, 3, 2, 1, mark. Pemberton breaks right, instinct overriding pride, survival overriding doctrine. Margot dives. The lead Messerschmitt never sees her, focused on Pemberton, target fixation, the fighter pilot's oldest mistake. She fires, 2-second burst. The Messerschmitt's tail section shreds, elevators gone. The aircraft pitches nose down, uncontrollable, ballistic. 5 seconds of ammunition left. The second Messerschmitt breaks, climbs, smart, getting separation, resetting the fight. Margot doesn't follow. She's learned that lesson. Chase every enemy and you end up alone and slow and dead. She pulls alongside Pemberton's Spitfire. Hand signal. Regroup. Pemberton stares at her through his canopy. She can't see his expression, doesn't need to. The rigid set of his shoulders says everything. He's furious. He's also alive. The radio crackles, different voice, accented English, precise, almost Oxford. Attention, British fighters. This is Major Klaus von Richter, Jagdgeschwader 77. I am looking for the Spitfire that dives, the one with the silver spinner. I have a proposition. Silence on the frequency. Von Richter continues. You fly with uncommon skill. This interests me. I propose we settle this properly, you and I. The old way. Single combat. If you win, my fighters withdraw. If I win... A pause. Almost a smile in the voice. Well, you will not need to worry about the outcome. Pemberton keys his radio. All aircraft ignore enemy transmissions. Maintain discipline. Regroup at Angels 20. But Margot's already scanning, looking for the distinctive black Focke-Wulf that von Richter flies. Everyone knows it. Black spinner, white number 7 on the fuselage, 41 kills painted under the canopy. She sees him, high, alone, circling like a hawk, waiting. Every instinct screams trap. It's bait, like the Messerschmitts below, like everything in this war. But it's also opportunity. Von Richter is the linchpin, the leader, the teacher. Kill him and the German formation loses cohesion, loses confidence. Kill him and she proves the diving tactic works against the best. She keys the radio. Von Richter, I accept. No, Pemberton's voice. Sharp, commanding. Lieutenant, that is a direct. Margot switches channels, cuts him off. She's done following orders that get people killed. She climbs toward Von Richter. He watches her approach. Doesn't move. Confident. Patient. A master waiting for the student to make the first mistake. Margot levels off 2,000 feet below him. Shows her belly. Vulnerable. Von Richter dives. Fast. Precise. Textbook energy attack. Using altitude advantage. This is what he does. What he's done 41 times before. Margot waits. Counts. Judges closure rate. 3 seconds. 2. 1. She breaks hard left, full deflection turn, the Spitfire groans. G-forces crush her into the seat, vision grays at the edges. Von Richter's guns open up. 6 seconds of fire, tracers arc past, close but past. He pulls up, zoom climb, regaining altitude, resetting. Margot's already diving, converting her turn into vertical separation, down, fast, building speed. Von Richter follows again. Confident he has the speed advantage. He does. But Margot has something else. She knows this aircraft, every rivet, every stress point, every degree of flutter in the ailerons at terminal velocity. She's dived this Spitfire faster than the manual says is safe. Faster than any sane pilot would attempt. She's about to do it again, 410 miles per hour, 420, 430, the wings scream, the rivets weep. The airframe shudders like something alive and terrified. Margot pulls out at 300 feet, hard, brutal. The G-forces crush, her vision blacks completely. She's flying blind, flying on feel, on instinct. The Spitfire levels, vision returns, gray, then color. She looks back. Von Richter tried to follow, got halfway, pulled out at 800 feet, smart, disciplined, stayed within his aircraft's limits, but that gave Margot the separation she needed. She's below him now, building speed again, positioning. Von Richter climbs, trying to regain altitude advantage. Height buys time. Velocity buys surprise. Margot climbs too. Parallel. A race, both aircraft clawing for sky. Her radiator temperature spikes. Red, deep red, the engine's cooking, coolant boiling. She has maybe 2 minutes before the engine seizes. Von Richter sees the white vapor trailing from her aircraft, knows what it means. He levels off, stops climbing, conserves energy, waits, patient, professional, letting physics do the killing. Margot's engine temperature hits the peg, maximum, beyond maximum. Smoke wisps from the cowling, not good smoke, not oil, something worse. The engine coughs, stutters, catches again, barely. She has one chance, one attack, make it count or die trying. She rolls inverted, points the nose at Von Richter, head on. The most dangerous attack in aerial combat. Closure rate 800 miles per hour. Window of opportunity measured in heartbeats. Miss and you fly into each other. Both aircraft diving toward mutual annihilation. 4 seconds to contact. 3. Von Richter's guns flash. He fires early. Nervous. The tracers arc past. Wide. 2 seconds. Margot's finger tightens on the trigger. Waits. Waits. 1 second. She fires. Final 3 seconds of ammunition. Everything she has left. The convergence point is perfect. 250 yards. Where Willa bore-sighted the guns, Von Richter's Focke-Wulf staggers, wing root hit, coolant explosion, white vapor erupts. Both aircraft flash past each other, wingtip to wingtip, inches, maybe less. Margot rolls upright, looks back. Von Richter's aircraft trails smoke, heavy, black. He's turning, shallow, wounded, heading east toward friendly territory, but he's alive. Margot's out of ammunition, out of time, her engine dies. Complete power loss, propeller windmills silent. She's a glider now, 3 miles from friendly territory, losing altitude at 500 feet per minute. The mathematics are cruel. She'll hit the ground in 6 minutes, maybe 7 if she's efficient. She aims for the English coast, wills the aircraft to fly, to stretch, to give her every foot of glide ratio. The Spitfire settles into descent, smooth, stable, dying gracefully. Below northern France slides past, fields, villages, roads, the landscape of occupation. She looks for emergency landing options, sees a grass strip, small, probably a forward field, maybe British, maybe German, can't tell from altitude, no choice. It's that or trees. She sets up approach, no power, no go-around, one chance. The field rushes up, green, rough, pockmarked with old shell craters. She flares, the Spitfire floats, touches, bounces, touches again, rolls, shakes. The tail wheel collapses, the nose dips, dirt rooster tails. The aircraft slides 50 yards, stops 10 feet from a burned-out lorry. Silence. Margot sits, hands shaking, breath coming fast, alive, somehow alive. She pops the canopy. Cool air rushes in, smells like grass and cordite and survival. She unbuckles, tries to stand, her legs don't work, adrenaline crash. She sits back down, voices, running footsteps, British voices, thank God, British. A medical orderly appears, young, 19 maybe, clean uniform, haven't seen much combat. He reaches up to help her. She takes his hand, climbs down, removes her helmet. Her hair falls loose, short, but unmistakably feminine. The orderly freezes, stares, mouth open. You're a woman. Other voices, more footsteps, more faces arrive. Mechanics, ground crew, a flight sergeant, everyone staring. Margot tries to speak. Her throat's dry. She coughs, tries again. Water, please, I need... Her knees buckle, the world tilts. Strong hands catch her. Willa Brennan's voice. Get out of the way, you fools, she's wounded. I'm not wounded. Margot manages. You're about to be if you don't sit down. Willa guides her to a bench. Fuel drums repurposed as furniture. Someone get water and find Wing Commander Pemberton. Tell him Lieutenant Ashford is here. The title sounds strange now. Everyone knows. The secret's out. Margot drinks. The water tastes like metal and miracles. Willa sits beside her, lights a cigarette, offers one. Margot takes it, her hands still shake. How bad? Margot asks. Your aircraft total loss, engine seized, radiator gone, airframe stressed beyond limits. Willa exhales smoke. Your career will find out shortly. A lorry approaches. Dust cloud, angry engine noise. It stops, door slams, boots on gravel. Wing Commander Alistair Pemberton walks toward them, face unreadable, uniform perfect despite the combat. The old school, standards maintained even in chaos. He stops 3 feet away, looks at Margot, really looks, seeing her for the first time. Woman instead of pilot. Long silence. Finally, Lieutenant Ashford, or should I say Miss Ashford. Sir, he raises a hand. Silence. You have committed fraud, impersonation of an officer, falsification of military documents, and in combat you directly disobeyed orders, 3 times. That I counted. Margot says nothing. What defense exists, Pemberton continues. Regulations are clear. Women are prohibited from combat roles. Exceptions do not exist. Discovery means immediate grounding. Court-martial. Likely imprisonment. He pauses, lights his pipe. The ritual of it. The delay. You also scored 3 confirmed kills this morning. Saved Flight Lieutenant O'Rourke's life. Saved mine. And engaged Major Klaus von Richter in single combat. First pilot to do so and survive in 6 weeks. He looks at her directly. I am faced with a dilemma, Miss Ashford. Follow regulations and lose the most innovative tactical mind I've encountered in 25 years of military service, or break every rule I've sworn to uphold and keep you flying. More silence, the kind that stretches time. An intelligence officer approaches. Captain, signals branch, carries a folder marked urgent. Sir, decoded intercept, German communications, priority. Pemberton reads. His expression doesn't change, but something shifts in his posture. Tension, recognition. He hands the folder back. Major von Richter has requested his entire Geschwader be reassigned to this sector. He's specifically hunting for the Spitfire that dives, the one that damaged his aircraft and his pride. He wants a rematch. Pemberton looks at Margot. He's assembling 28 fighters, the largest concentrated formation we've seen since Dunkirk. Intelligence estimates they'll sweep this sector tomorrow at dawn. Their objective is twofold: destroy our bombers and kill you. The weight of that settles. Pemberton makes a decision. She can see it happen, the moment a man chooses to trust instinct over regulation. You have 18 hours, Miss Ashford. Teach my pilots your diving tactic. Demonstrate it works for average pilots, not just exceptional ones. If it succeeds, I will personally petition Air Command to grant you a combat exemption. If anyone dies learning your method, he doesn't finish, doesn't need to. You'll have 3 students, volunteers only. Flight Lieutenant O'Rourke has already requested assignment. Pick 2 more. Train them. Make them survive tomorrow. He turns to leave, stops, looks back. One more thing. Your brother Theodore. I knew him. Good pilot. Followed every rule. Died because those rules were wrong. I failed him. I won't fail you. But you must give me something to work with. Prove this isn't just individual brilliance. Prove it's teachable doctrine. Yes, sir. Pemberton nods, walks away. Willa exhales. Well, that could have gone worse. Could it? You could be in chains right now. Instead, you're training an elite unit. I'd call that a win. Margot stands, tests her legs. They work now, adrenaline fading, reality settling in. I need 3 pilots, good ones, who'll listen. O'Rourke's a given. He owes you his life. For the others, Willa thinks. Flight Lieutenant Nigel Hargrove, Cambridge, physics background. He'll understand the theory. And Pilot Officer Jasper Whitlock, young, eager, almost got himself killed last week being too aggressive. Channel that aggression into something useful. Can I see the roster? Follow me. The operations room is organized chaos. Maps, weather reports, loss estimates. The machinery of air warfare grinding forward. Willa points to names. Margot reads service records. Flight Lieutenant Nigel Hargrove, 28. Mathematics degree. 12 kills, cool under pressure. Reputation for precision flying. Pilot Officer Jasper Whitlock, 19. Farm background. 6 kills, aggressive, sometimes reckless, learning fast. Both good, both survivors. Margot makes the selections. Within the hour, all 4 pilots gather in a briefing room, empty except for a chalkboard and chairs. O'Rourke grins when he sees her. Told you I'd keep your secret, though I suppose it's not much of a secret anymore. Hargrove studies her analytically. So you're the mystery pilot, the one who broke formation. Fascinating. I'd like to understand the physics of what you did. Whitlock just stares, young, confused. You're actually a woman. Sorry, that sounded... Yes, I'm a woman. Can you follow instructions? Yes, ma'am. Then we'll get along fine. Margot moves to the chalkboard, draws a simple diagram. 2 aircraft, vertical separation. Everything you've been taught about fighter combat is designed for the last war. Sopwith camels at 120 miles per hour. Turning radius was everything. Speed was secondary. The aircraft that could turn tighter won. She draws another diagram. Modern fighters, higher speeds. The Spitfire and the Messerschmitt can both turn, but at high speed turning bleeds energy. You slow down, become predictable. The Germans know this. They bait you into turning fights. Then they kill you from altitude. Hargrove nods. Energy management theory, I've read about it. Never seen it applied. Because it violates doctrine. Doctrine says engage at your level, match the enemy's altitude, fight honorably. She draws a third diagram, vertical attack. I'm proposing something different. Use altitude as potential energy, dive, convert height into speed, attack. Use that speed to climb back up, never turn, never slow down, never give them a predictable target. O'Rourke leans forward. How fast? Past the red line, 400, 420, as fast as the aircraft can handle without braking. Whitlock's eyes widen. The manual says, the manual was written by engineers in factories. They design for safety margins, but safety margins get you killed in combat. The airframe can handle more stress than they admit. I've proven it. She looks at each of them. This is dangerous, I won't lie. You'll push your aircraft to the edge of structural failure. You'll pull G-forces that gray out your vision. You'll dive at angles that feel like suicide. And if you make a mistake, there's no recovery. No second chance. Silence. Hargrove speaks first. What's the survival rate using current tactics? 20%, maybe less. And using your method? I don't know. I've survived, but I'm one pilot, one data set. More silence. Whitlock raises his hand, like a schoolboy. I'll try it. Current tactics almost got me killed last week. Can't be worse than that. O'Rourke grins. I'm in. You saved my life this morning. Figure I owe you the chance to do it again. Hargrove studies the diagrams. Mathematical mind working. The theory is sound. Energy management over maneuverability. It should work. I'm willing to test it. Margot feels something unfamiliar. Hope. Maybe. All right. We train tonight. Darkness. No one watches. Tomorrow at dawn we prove it works. Or we die trying. They train under stars. 4 Spitfires, empty sky. Willa Brennan and her crew working miracles to get the aircraft ready. Margot leads them up, climbs to 15,000 feet, demonstrates. Watch. I roll inverted, pull. The dive should feel wrong. Your instincts scream to pull out. Ignore them, steeper, faster, until the airspeed hits 400. She dives. The Spitfire plummets. She pulls out at 5,000 feet, zooms back up. Your turn, O'Rourke first. O'Rourke dives. Good, aggressive, pulls out too early, 8,000 feet. Again, steeper, second attempt, better, 6,000 feet. Again, third attempt, he gets it, 5,000 feet. Clean pull out, zoom climb recovery, Hargrove next, precise, calculated. Gets it on second attempt, perfect geometry. Whitlock struggles, too aggressive on the dive, too timid on the pull out. Takes 6 attempts, but he learns, young, adaptable. They practice for 3 hours. Dive, climb, climb. Building muscle memory, trusting physics over fear. By midnight, all 3 can execute the basic maneuver. Not perfect, not brilliant, but survivable. Margot gathers them after landing. Tomorrow von Richter brings 28 aircraft. We'll have maybe a dozen. The numbers don't favor us, but numbers don't win fights. Energy does. Position does. Surprise does. She looks at each of them. We climb high, higher than them. We position with the sun behind us. We dive on their formation before they know we're there. We kill. We zoom climb. We reset. We do it again. We don't turn. We don't chase. We don't get pulled into their fight. O'Rourke asks the question they're all thinking. And if it doesn't work, then we die. But we die trying something new. Something that might save the next squadron, the next generation. Silence. The weight of that. Hargrove speaks quietly. My father flew in the last war. Told me the worst thing wasn't dying. It was dying for nothing. Dying the same way as everyone else. If we're going to die tomorrow, at least we're dying for something that matters. Whitlock nods. My brother wants to be a pilot. After the war, I want him to have better tactics than we did, even if I'm not there to teach him. O'Rourke just grins. We're not going to die tomorrow. We're going to make history. They sleep in the aircraft, cockpits, cramped, uncomfortable, but together. Margot lies in her Spitfire looking at stars through the canopy. She thinks about Teddy, about Marcus. about the mother she left behind. She thinks about the bet she's made, not just with her life, with 3 other lives. Good men trusting her instincts. Sleep comes in fragments, dreams of diving, of fire, of physics and faith colliding. At 0400, someone shakes her awake. Willa Brennan, holding tea, strong, British, necessary. Dawn in 90 minutes. Intelligence confirms German formation assembling. Von Richter's leading personally. This is it. Margot drinks. The tea burns, grounds her. Aircraft ready. All 4, fueled, armed. I gave you extra ammunition, figured you'll need it. Thank you, Willa. The older woman nods. Don't thank me yet. Bring my aircraft back in one piece and bring yourself back. We've lost enough good pilots. Pemberton appears, full uniform despite the hour, standards. Weather is clearing. Visibility unlimited. German formation estimated 28 fighters, possibly more. Our squadron will have 14 aircraft. You'll lead Falcon section. O'Rourke, Hargrove, Whitlock. I'll lead the main formation. We'll engage as per doctrine. You'll engage as per whatever you call your method. Energy tactics, sir. Energy tactics, right. If this works, Miss Ashford, you'll change aerial warfare. If it fail, I know, sir. Good. Wheels up in 60 minutes. The hour passes. Equipment checks. Pre-flight. The rituals that keep fear manageable. Margot straps into her Spitfire. New aircraft. Willa pulled strings. Fresh engine. No leaks. No compromises. The Merlin starts. Smooth. Powerful. Ready. 1 by 1, 14 Spitfires taxi to the runway. Dawn breaks across the English coast. Red sky. Sailor's warning. Pemberton's voice on the radio. All aircraft. Today we face the enemy's best. Major von Richter, veteran of Spain, veteran of France, 41 confirmed kills. He's coming for us, for revenge, for blood. Pause. But we have something he doesn't. We have Lieutenant Ashford, the pilot who broke the rules and lived, who invented a new way to fight. Today we prove her method works. Today we change the war. Another pause. Falcon section, you have tactical freedom. Engage as you see fit. Main formation will draw their attention. Standard doctrine, make them commit. Then Falcon section strikes from above. Understood. Acknowledgements ripple across the frequency. Pemberton's final words. Good hunting, gentlemen and lady. The Spitfires lift into dawn light, climbing, heading toward France, toward von Richter, toward history. Margot checks her section. 3 aircraft, right echelon, tight. She keys the radio, private channel. Falcon section, this is Hawk lead. Remember your training. Climb high, dive fast, kill quick. Don't chase, don't turn. Trust the physics, trust each other. Today we hunt. 3 acknowledgements. The French coast appears. Dark line against pale sea. Intelligence updates. Bandits, Angels 22 bearing 090, multiple contacts, estimate 30 plus, more than expected. Von Richter brought friends. Margot climbs higher. Falcon section follows. 24,000 feet, 2628 above the Germans. Sun behind, perfect position. Below the main formation engages. Pemberton's Spitfires diving on the German formation, drawing attention, creating chaos. Von Richter's distinctive black Focke-Wulf separates. Looking. Hunting, looking for her. Margot rolls inverted. Falcon section, execute. 4 Spitfires dive. The stick goes forward. The Spitfire's nose drops toward hell. 4 aircraft fall from 28,000 feet, not falling, attacking. Controlled violence wrapped in metal and purpose. Margot's airspeed indicator climbs. 360. 380, 400, 420. The wings protest. The airframe groans. Rivets strain against forces they were never designed to bear. She doesn't care. Physics is on her side now. Gravity, momentum, surprise. Below, the German formation hasn't seen them yet. Von Richter's fighters swirl around Pemberton's main group. A furball, a knife fight. Exactly what they wanted. Exactly what Margot expected. She picks her target, trailing Messerschmitt on the left edge. Slightly separated. Distracted. Distance closes. 1,000 yards. 800. 600. The German looks up. Too late. Margot fires. 2-second burst. 8 machine guns converging. The mathematics of violence. The Messerschmitt's tail explodes, entire empennage disintegrates, the fuselage tumbles, no control, no recovery, just physics claiming another victim. Kill number 1, she doesn't watch it fall, already pulling out, 430 miles per hour, 7 Gs, 8. The world compresses, vision tunnels, gray creeps in from the edges. She grunts, forces blood to her brain, fighter pilot's trick, survival instinct. The Spitfire levels at 12,000 feet. She's blown through the entire German formation. They scatter like startled birds. Behind her, O'Rourke follows. His dive is good, aggressive. He fires at a Focke-Wulf, hits. The German's engine trails smoke. Damage. Maybe fatal, maybe not. Hargrove next. Precise, mathematical, he calculates deflection perfectly, fires, a Messerschmitt's wing shears off, clean kill. Kill number 2 for Falcon section. Whitlock comes last, too fast, too steep, he's diving past the red line. Margot keys the radio. Falcon 4, ease back your... Whitlock pulls out, barely. 300 feet above the ground, his wings flex so hard they look like they'll snap, but they hold. He zooms back up, shaking, alive. Sorry, Lid, got carried away. Stay with me. Reset at Angels 20. All 4 Spitfires climb, using their dive speed, converting kinetic back to potential, the eternal equation. The Germans are confused, disorganized. They've never been attacked this way, vertical, violent, gone before they could respond, but they're learning fast. Von Richter's voice cuts across the radio frequency. English, accented, angry. So, the diving Spitfire returns and brings students. Clever, but predictable. All aircraft climb, deny them altitude, force them down. 20-plus German fighters begin climbing. Coordinated, disciplined. Margot watches, calculates. They're doing exactly what she'd do, taking away her advantage, making her fight their way. She keys the radio. Falcon section, we climb faster, race them, stay above. 4 Spitfires claw for altitude. Full throttle. Emergency power, engines straining. The Germans climb too. Focke-Wulf's faster, Messerschmitt's lighter. It's a race, vertical, deadly, 18,000 feet, 2022. The Germans are gaining, closing the altitude gap. Margot makes a decision. Falcon section split, 2 and 3 break left, 4 with me right. We'll sandwich them. O'Rourke and Hargrove peel left. Margot and Whitlock break right. The German formation splits to follow. Predictable, they're hunting, perfect. Margot rolls, dives. Not vertical this time. Shallow, building speed, angling. 2 Messerschmitts follow, young pilots, eager, making the same mistake she's counting on. They chase her down, losing altitude, gaining speed, thinking they have her. At 12,000 feet, Margot pulls up. Hard, brutal, 9 Gs. The Messerschmitts try to follow. Can't. Too much speed, too steep. They overshoot. Margot rolls inverted at the top, dives on them from above. The lead Messerschmitt never sees it coming. She fires, 3-second burst, the cockpit shatters, the pilot slumps. The aircraft rolls inverted and falls. Kill number 3, the second Messerschmitt breaks, diving, running. Margot doesn't chase, she looks left, sees O'Rourke engaged with 2 Focke-Wulfs. Turning fight bad, he's bleeding energy. She dives to help, but someone else gets there first. Hargrove, perfect geometry, he slashes through the fight, fires. 1 Focke-Wulf explodes, kill number 4. The second Focke-Wulf breaks off, smart, survival instinct. O'Rourke's voice, breathing hard. Thanks, 3. Stay high, Hargrove responds, calm, academic, like he's discussing weather. Energy is everything. Margot grins despite herself. They're learning. She climbs again, scans the sky, looking for the black Focke-Wulf. Von Richter, there, high, alone, watching, studying. He's figured it out. sees the pattern, the tactic, the vulnerability. If he can catch them low, slow, after a dive, that's when they're vulnerable. Margot realizes the same thing. This is the critical moment, the test. Can her tactic survive against someone who understands it? Von Richter dives. Not on her. On Whitlock. The youngest. The least experienced. The weakness in the formation. Falcon 4, break left high, Bandit, you're 6. Whitlock breaks, but he's low. Slow. Just finished a climb. No energy. Von Richter closes fast, professional, no wasted movement. His guns flash, tracer's arc. Whitlock's Spitfire shudders, hits, wing damage, coolant leak. Whitlock's voice, young, scared. Lead, I'm hit. Engine's failing. I can't get to the coast. Minimum throttle. Glide if you have to. There's 3 more on me. Margot looks. He's right. 3 Messerschmitts diving on the wounded Spitfire. Easy kill. Meat on the table. She has a choice. Continue the mission. Let Whitlock die. Maintain tactical advantage. Or save him. Risk everything. For one pilot. Teddy's scarf presses against her neck. Silk. Memory. She doesn't hesitate. Falcon 2 and 3 continue mission. I'm going for 4. Lead, that suicide. O'Rourke. Concerned. Probably. Do it anyway. She dives. Straight down. Full throttle. 440 miles per hour. Faster than she's ever flown. The Spitfire protests. Violent vibration. Something loose in the airframe. A rivet failed. Maybe more. She doesn't care. The 3 Messerschmitts are focused on Whitlock. Target fixation. The disease of young hunters. Margot comes from their 7 o'clock. Perpendicular. Impossible deflection shot. She fires anyway. Lead and aim. Feel. Instinct. 800 hours of flying distilled into one trigger pull. The lead Messerschmitt explodes. Direct hit. Ammunition storage. Kill number 5. The other 2 break. Startled. Confused. Margot pulls up. Meets the second Messerschmitt head-on. Both aircraft firing. Closure rate 800 miles per hour. Window of opportunity measured in heartbeats. Her rounds hit first. The Messerschmitt's engine disintegrates. Oil, fire, catastrophic failure. Kill number 6. She banks hard. Looks for the 3rd. He's running, diving for the deck. Smart pilot. Knows when to disengage, but Margot's blood is up. Teddy's death. Marcus's grave. 3 weeks of rage needing release. She follows. The Messerschmitt breaks. Hard, too hard. Panic overriding training. His wing folds. Overstressed. Structural failure at high speed. The aircraft tumbles, uncontrolled, hits the water at terminal velocity. Kill number 7, not by bullets, by fear, by pressure, by making the enemy break himself. Margot pulls up, vision graying, engine temperature climbing. She climbs to Whitlock. The young pilot's Spitfire is dying. Smoke, coolant streaming, engine coughing. Can you make the coast? I think so. Maybe. Try. I'll cover you. They fly together. 2 Spitfires, one dying, one guarding. The channel appears, gray water, safety, home. Behind them the fight continues, radio chatter. O'Rourke and Hargrove working together, diving, killing, surviving. Pemberton's main formation is scattered but holding. The numbers are evening out. Then Von Richter appears. He's been waiting, watching, learning their pattern. He comes from above, fast, silent, perfect attack. His guns open up on Margot. Cannon fire, 20mm, exploding rounds. Her Spitfire staggers, hits, wing, fuselage, tail, damage everywhere. She breaks, hard, but her aircraft is sluggish. Control cables damaged, hydraulics failing. Von Richter follows, patient, professional. He has her. Margot's mind races. No altitude, no speed, no options except one. She aims for a cloud bank. Thick, low, dangerous. Von Richter follows her in. Visibility drops to 0. Gray fog, vertigo, flying on instruments. She cuts engine power, slows, radical maneuver in clouds. Suicide if you don't know what you're doing. Von Richter overshoots, too fast, too committed. Margot exits the cloud first, below him, behind him, impossible position. Physics shouldn't allow it. She climbs, uses last reserves of engine power, intercepts Von Richter as he exits the cloud. Point-blank range, 30 yards. She fires, everything, all remaining ammunition. Von Richter's Focke-Wulf staggers, multiple hits, engine, wing, canopy, But he's good, too good. He fights the controls, keeps the aircraft flying, wounded but alive. Smoke pours from his cowling, oil pressure failing. He's done. But so is Margot. Both aircraft disengage. Mutual respect, mutual exhaustion. Von Richter's voice on the radio, strained, pained, but alive. You are extraordinary, I concede today, but we will meet again, diving Spitfire. His aircraft turns east, trailing smoke, heading home. Margot lets him go. Honor. The old code. He could have killed Whitlock. Didn't. She returns the favor. Her aircraft is dying. Engine temperature critical, oil pressure falling, control surfaces damaged. She aims for the English coast, makes it. Barely. Crash lands in a field, wheels up, belly landing. The Spitfire slides, grinds, stops. She sits, breathing, hands shaking, alive. The canopy won't open, jammed. She kicks it, again, it breaks. Fresh air, she climbs out, falls to her knees. Grass, earth, England. Behind her 3 more Spitfires land. Proper landings, wheels down, civilized. O'Rourke, Hargrove, Whitlock, all alive. They run to her, help her up. O'Rourke grins. 9 kills, I counted. 7 yours, 2 ours. We got 9 total. Margot shakes her head. Von Richter survived, doesn't count. Still drove him off, still won the day, Hargrove nods. The tactic works. We engaged 12 enemy aircraft, destroyed 7, damaged 4, including Von Richter. 0 losses. The mathematics are compelling. Whitlock just hugs her, young, emotional, alive because she saved him. Thank you, he whispers. Thank you. A lorry arrives. Pemberton, medical staff, ground crew. Pemberton sees the 4 of them, sees the damaged aircraft, the victory. He salutes. Formal, proper recognition. Falcon section, well done. Initial reports indicate 11 enemy aircraft destroyed, 4 by main formation, 7 by your section. Additionally, Major Von Richter was engaged and driven off. First time in 6 weeks anyone has survived combat with him. He pauses. Miss Ashford, your tactic is validated. I'm recommending immediate adoption across Fighter Command, and I'm recommending you for the Distinguished Flying Cross. Silence. Then O'Rourke whoops, breaks the tension. She deserves a medal bigger than that. Pemberton almost smiles. 1 step at a time, Lieutenant. The next 6 weeks blur. Margot trains more pilots, dozens. The tactic spreads. Boom and zoom, energy fighting, vertical tactics. Kill ratios reverse. 3 British for 1 German becomes 3 German for 1 British. The mathematics of war shift. Fighter Command adopts the doctrine officially. Training manuals rewritten. Pemberton's reports circulate. American volunteers carry the knowledge home. The method spreads. Margot flies more missions. Her kill count climbs. 20, 30, 40. She becomes a ghost in the German ranks. The diving hawk, the silver demon. Stories grow, but the secret of her gender spreads too. Quiet, unofficial. Everyone knows, nobody discusses it. Pemberton protects her. Lieutenant Ashford is retained due to extraordinary skill and unique tactical value. Questions regarding eligibility are above your clearance. It works, barely, until it doesn't. April 1943, the tide is turning. Allies gaining ground. Germany retreating. The end visible on distant horizons. Margot's squadron is assigned ground attack missions. Low level. Dangerous. Hitting German supply columns in occupied Greece. She leads Falcon section. O'Rourke. Hargrove. 2 new pilots replacing losses. They strafe a convoy near Thessaloniki. Trucks, fuel tankers, ammunition. Everything explodes, beautiful, terrible. Margot's Spitfire takes ground fire. 20mm anti-aircraft, the engine dies, immediate, total. She's at 300 feet, no altitude, no options. She aims for an open field, tries to dead stick land, almost makes it. The Spitfire hits hard, bounces, cartwheel, breaks apart, metal screaming, world tumbling, pain, darkness. She wakes in a field hospital. British. 3 days later, broken ribs, concussion, burns alive. Willa Brennan sits beside the bed, older now, grayer, still smoking. You're awake, good, was starting to worry. Margot tries to speak. Throat dry, damaged. Willa offers water. Easy, you've been out a while, pulled you from the wreck. Remarkable you survived it all. The others do. Falcon section made it home. O'Rourke's asking about you every hour. Hargrove calculated your survival probability at 4%. He's very pleased you beat the odds. Margot almost smiles. Hurts too much. Willa leans forward. You're done, girl. The doctors say you'll fly again eventually, but the war will be over by then. Your fighting days are finished. Silence. Not sadness, just acceptance. Did it work? Margot asks. The tactic, did it save them? Saved thousands, kill ratios reversed, doctrine changed. You did what you set out to do. Willa lights a cigarette, offers one. Margot shakes her head. There's something else, Willa says. Pemberton wants to see you when you're strong enough. 2 days later, Pemberton visits. He brings a folder, official papers. Miss Ashford, your service record has been complicated. Officially, you don't exist. Lieutenant Marcus Ashford was listed as killed in action, April 19, 1943. Greece. He opens the folder. Unofficially, I've been working with High Command. Your contributions cannot be ignored, but they also cannot be made public, not yet. The political ramification, He looks uncomfortable. I'm offering you a choice. We can create a new identity, promote you to wing commander, assign you to training command. You'd teach the next generation, pass on your knowledge. But you'd have to remain discreet about certain facts. Or we close the file. Marcus Ashford died a hero. Margot Ashford returns home. The truth stays classified for now. How long is for now? 50 years, maybe more, until attitudes change. Margot considers 50 years. She'd be 76, assuming she lives that long. I'll go home, she says. But I want one thing. Name it. The tactic, the doctrine, it stays. It spreads. American pilots, Soviet pilots, everyone. I want my brother's deaths to mean something. Done. The method is already being taught at every Allied training facility. Your contribution to aerial warfare is assured, even if your name isn't. He extends his hand. She shakes it. 3 weeks later, Margot Ashford boards a transport ship, heading west, heading home. She carries a duffel bag, Teddy's silk scarf, 41 confirmed kills no one will ever credit to her real name, and the knowledge that she changed the war. The years pass, 1945, war ends. She's 29, stays in Virginia, helps her mother, the farm, normal life, strange after so much dying. 1950, she reads reports, fighter pilots in Korea using energy tactics against MiGs. Her tactics, no attribution. She doesn't mind. 1958, the telegram arrives on a Tuesday. O'Rourke died. Heart attack. Quick, painless. Margot attends the funeral in Dublin, sees his widow, 3 children, 12 grandchildren. The widow approaches after the service, hands her a letter, sealed. He wrote this in 1945, said to give it to you when the time came. Margot opens it that night. Hawk, you saved my life twice, once over France, once by teaching me to think differently. I named my first son Theodore, after your brother, so the name lives on, so the legacy continues. Thank you for showing me that rules are just starting points. Deck, she folds the letter, adds it to the box where Teddy's scarf lives. 1963, she retires from the farm, moves to a small house near Biggin Hill. Can't stay away from the aircraft, volunteers at the RAF Museum. 1992, Hargrove's death is in the Times. Noted mathematician and war hero. She attends the memorial at Cambridge, hundreds present. students, colleagues. The dean mentions Hargrove's war service. He developed tactical innovations that saved countless lives. He never sought credit, just results. Afterward, a young professor approaches. Group Captain Ashford, Professor Hargrove left you this. A notebook filled with calculations, energy management equations, dive angles, G-force tolerances. The final page has a note, M. You taught me physics could save lives, not just describe them. Thank you. NH. She keeps the notebook, 1998, age 82. The British government declassifies her service record. 55 years after her last combat mission. A small ceremony, a few reporters, some interest. But the war has been over for half a century. Most people don't care about old fighter tactics. She receives the Distinguished Flying Cross, posthumously awarded to Marcus, now correctly attributed to Margot. A young female RAF pilot attends, asks questions, wants to understand. Margot tells her, "Gravity is impartial, only your competence matters. Remember that." The pilot salutes her. Future honoring past, 2003. Whitlock's obituary is brief. Farmer, father, veteran. No mention of fighter pilot. No mention of the day she saved him. She doesn't attend. Too far, too old, but a package arrives. From his daughter. Inside a model Spitfire, hand-carved, exquisite detail, and a note, "Dad made this in 1944. Said it belonged to the pilot who taught me to come home. He wanted you to have it." Margot places it on her mantle. 3 students, 3 lives, 3 legacies. Enough. 2010, she's 94, moves to a care facility near the museum, can see the Spitfires from her window. 2018, December, the RAF Museum Hendon opens a new exhibit, The Unknown Aces Classified Histories. Someone invites her. She goes. Wheelchair, oxygen, but present. The exhibit features her story, photographs, documents, her actual Spitfire. Recovered from that Greek field, restored, beautiful. She sits, stares at the aircraft, remembers a young woman approaches. RAF Flight Lieutenant, 28, confident, capable. She sees the name tag on Margot's coat. Group Captain Ashford, are you the Ashford, the one who invented energy tactics? Margot looks up, tired eyes, but still sharp. I didn't invent them. Just proved they worked. They didn't teach us you were a woman in training. They just said tactical innovation, RAF 1942. Why did you wait so long to declassify? Margot considers. How to explain? Because it was never about me. It was about the method. Gender shouldn't matter to physics. I wanted the tactics to stand on their own merit, not as a novelty, not as a woman's achievement, just as good tactics. The young pilot kneels, eye level. But you could have been famous, inspired millions of girls, shown them women could fight, could lead, could innovate. Margot smiles, faint, tired. I did inspire them, just quietly. Every woman who flies combat now, every female fighter pilot in every nation. They're standing on invisible shoulders, mine, and others like me. We did it first so they could do it better. She looks at the restored Spitfire. That's enough legacy for me. The young pilot stands, salutes, formal, respectful. Margot returns it, weak, but genuine. The museum closes for the evening. Staff help her to her transport back to the care facility. That night she sits by her window, looking at stars, same stars she flew under. 76 years ago, she thinks about Teddy, about Marcus, about all the pilots she saved by teaching them to dive instead of turn. She thinks about O'Rourke, died in 1958, heart attack, peaceful. His son Theodore carrying the name forward. Hargrove died in 1992, cancer, surrounded by students he'd trained, mathematicians and pilots, his equations still teaching. Whitlock died in 2003. Old age, farm, family, 12 grandchildren. Every Christmas card ending with "Thank you for teaching me to survive." Von Richter. They'd met once after the war, 1974. Both old, both survivors. He'd saluted her. "You were the best opponent I faced. I am honored." She'd saluted back. "You made me better. Thank you." Warriors understanding each other across decades and former hatreds. The nurse checks on her. "Time for bed, Captain Ashford. In a moment, I'm just remembering. Happy memories, I hope. Some happy, some sad, mostly necessary." She touches the silk scarf hanging on the wall. Teddy's scarf. Faded now. Fragile. "I kept them safe, brother. As many as I could. I kept your legacy alive." The nurse leaves. Margot closes her eyes, sleeps, doesn't wake. The nurse finds her in the morning, peaceful, hands folded, slight smile, gone at 102, December 20th, 2018. The funeral is small. A few distant relatives, museum staff, 3 elderly pilots who'd learned from her in 1942, all in their 90s, all alive because of her teaching. They don't speak, just salute the coffin. Fighter pilots honoring a fighter pilot. The obituary in the Times is brief. Group Captain Margot Ashford, pioneering fighter pilot, dies at 102. Most people don't read it, but at RAF Cranwell, the training academy, instructors teaching energy management pause. This technique was developed by Group Captain Ashford, 1942. First person to weaponize vertical tactics in modern fighter combat. Thanks to her air superiority doctrine was rewritten. A young cadet raises her hand. "Sir, was Ashford the one they called the Hawk?" "Yes. She flew 41 combat missions, 41 confirmed kills, never lost a wingman after developing her method, changed the way every Air Force fights." "Did she get any recognition?" The instructor pauses. "She got something better. Every fighter pilot who survived the last 76 years, every pilot who climbed instead of turned, who dived instead of chased. They're her recognition. She didn't need monuments, she needed legacy, and she got it." The cadet nods, understands. Somewhere in museums and ready rooms and training manuals across the world, Margot Ashford's influence continues. Invisible, permanent, essential. Climb high, dive fast, live. Energy wins fights, position wins wars, gender is irrelevant, physics is eternal, and the sky remembers its pioneers. Even when the world forgets their names, especially then 2025, a young woman sits in a fighter cockpit, F-35, stealth, technology Margot couldn't have imagined. The instructor's voice in her helmet. "Execute vertical egress, energy management, boom and zoom." The pilot climbs, rolls inverted, dives, 400 miles per hour, 500, faster than Margot ever flew. She pulls out, perfect technique, physics and courage combined. The instructor's voice. "Excellent. You just executed the Ashford maneuver. 1942 innovation, still works today. Still saves lives." The young pilot doesn't know who Ashford was, doesn't know the story, doesn't need to. She knows the tactic works. That's enough. That's everything. And somewhere in memory and sky and the mathematics of survival, Margot Ashford smiles. Mission accomplished. Legacy secured. The dive continues.